Yeah, you know what time it is. BBU Enterprise presents the DMV's #1 outlet to the streets. BU DVD magazine. BU, all you gotta do is be you. 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 That's all. That's all you gotta do, man. Be you. All you gotta do is be you.
Man, no matter what you do, be you, man. Shout out my man, that gang.
It's your man Tony Redz, aka Mr. 24/7, right here, Washington, D.C., man. Growing up in D.C., it's like it was a good cultural experience for me because I grew up in a mini part, so I was never in like one area. I was like southeast, northeast, northwest. Then I moved out Maryland, so I was able to get with a lot of different, cliques and learn a lot about the culture of DC, go-go. Even dancing was big back then, you know what I'm saying? You see a lot of people, beating your feet now and all that good stuff. Back then, you had breaking, all that kind of craziness. So I learned a lot about our culture in this city, you know what I mean? Well, I think go-go was very influential on me because you gotta think, when you're in a go-go band, you're on the stage for 45 minutes to an hour. And that taught you how to work a crowd, that taught you how to control a crowd, that taught you how to control your voice. Because back then, we had 5 or 6 shows a week. So, if you didn't properly train your voice, you can lose your voice. You know what I'm saying? So that just taught me how to, inflect on the mic and just work a crowd for a long periods of time. It was a wild story because back then they was doing a little contest where, back when Howard Homecoming used to be down at Howard. And so I was, hanging around Howard doing my thing, going to school there or whatever. And they was like, man, it's a radio station. I can't say the other radio station, but there's a radio station down there up against the wall, man. And they looking for somebody to rock the crowd. And they said if they find somebody to rock the crowd, they're going to give out a free internship. I was like, what? So I went on down there, got on the mic, and I was an MC at that time, so, it was nothing. So we rocked the crowd, and they was like, you know what? You on, you popping. Show up, da-da-da-da-da. And I showed up, and it wasn't the experience that I thought it was going to be. But you learn, and it builds character. When I was doing these tours and things of that nature, and doing signage on tours and stuff, and I would be in these other cities and putting up signage. And when you go to that city, you would hear their artists, you would hear their music playing. Like I went to New York, I was hearing people I didn't hear when I was home. And they were like, oh, they from the Bronx, or they from X, Y, and Z. Then you went to Atlanta, then you heard that music in Atlanta. You went to North Carolina, you heard their music in North Carolina. And when I would come home, I would hear everybody else's music but our music. And so I felt like if I had ever got a platform to do what I'm doing, that I would support my city. And this is unheard of what I'm doing here because radio is very, very fickle when it comes to playing unfamiliar music. And on top of that, you have to get artists to support you and your movement to get the ratings up. I tell people a formula, they might use it, but just put it like this. I have a creative way of putting, our so-called local artists, because I call them artists. They're artists to me. Our local artists in with national artists and making it sound phenomenal, and you can't really tell. Okay, the importance that I give on the community, I think, back in the day, I got myself into a bit of trouble, and I could have been, still sitting in a place where I don't need to be at right now. And it was somebody that helped me out, and they introduced me to the Mayor's Youth Leadership Institute, the Mayor Berry's Youth Leadership Institute, Mayor for Life, and they taught me a lot of qualities of who I am. They helped me find who I was, because at that time when you're growing up in this city, you always was with a clique, or you try to get with a clique, or you tried to be something that you're not. And so they helped me become a leader instead of an individual. And that's the one thing that we teach youth in our program, is being young leaders. I was able to do a black college tour. I did one of the most successful black college tours here in the city, where I took 25 kids on a historical black college tour, and 19 out of that 25 went to school. We reach kids where they at. So we use the music that they love, we use the turn up that they love, we use their attitudes and their sayings that they're talking about, and we put the message right in between it so they kind of get it. And then I add my entertainment element of artists, and I try to break the artists in the same aspect. So it's a twofold for me because it's where I came from and it's what I'm doing. So people say, Dad, you doing this? Yeah, I'm doing this for my city. When I look at where I'm trying to go with this, I'm trying to be the one. If you look at the Greg Streets of Atlanta, you look at the DJ Dramas, and you look at, you know, Cosmic Kev of Philly. If you look at them, when record labels are looking for artists or they're looking for the next talent, they go to those key people in that city and say, who got next? And they say, what? Meek Mill's got next in Philly. You know, whoever else got next in Atlanta. When they come here, I want to say, you know, the Ant Glizzies, the HD Mikeys, the light shows, they got next. I want to be that one that they come to because I have my ear to the street and I represent my city. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I push so hard. Like, if we support each other, we got a movement, they will listen. I'm doing it. I'm pushing so hard. I'm making the other radio stations listen. You see what I'm saying? When you got the other stations listen and trying to mirror what you're doing, then you got the ear. You got the streets right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make the District of Columbia have a mark in the industry, not as go-go, but as hip-hop artists as well. I tell people, be humble and follow your craft. Like, perfect your craft. Feel like talent is only 10%. 90% is knowledge of what you do. Tony Redz 247 on everything.
It is BBU Enterprise presents the DMV's #1 outlet to the streets, BU DVD magazine. BU, all you gotta do is be you. BU, all you gotta do is be.
Where y'all from? Where y'all from? Where y'all from? Where y'all from? Yo, excuse me, killer cow. Yes. Have you ever seen a show with fellas on the mic where woman it rhymes that don't come out right? They right, they never right. That's not polite. Hey, am I lying? No, you're quite right. So tonight on this very mic, you're about to hear, we swear, the best vocal stars of the year. So, are you ready though? Are you ready though? So, are you ready though? Are you ready though? So, are you ready though? This is called a show. Report to the stage. R.E. Show. Not the one to stand up to. Speak with me and best believe them birds have to carry you. How about the Panamera? Flashing for the camera. Hot as the Sahara, I'm the realest nigga ever. Castle in my duffel, I got credit on my visa. I could paint a perfect picture, Leonardo, Mona Lisa. I rip my women out. If you want her, you can keep her. Just bring my money back. Best believe that I release her. Yeah, my paper tragic. Yeah, my paper stacking. When I get my paper, rip my money out the plastic. Y'all know how the flow be. Yeah, the city know me. Name a rapper better than me, homie. You can show me. Bars on top of bars, cars on top of cars, paper plates everywhere, just look at my garage. Yeah, I do this go-go thing for show, full time, bar for bar, line for line, we can do it anytime. Excuse me, Roddy, yes. 6 minutes, six minutes.
Check me out.
6 minutes, Lil Roddy, you're on.
Check me out.
Yeah.
I'm from a place where they label one safe guns, rock affairs knocking like every other day. Hey, I'm from a city where the sun don't shine, babies crying, people dying, so I'ma get it by my way. Gone off that Bacardi, step up in the club, I hear them scream, it's Lil Roddy. Straight to VIP, my whole hood and for free. That's the everyday life of a stunner like me. Stop playing, you know I'ma be big ballin', no time for hesitation. Can't stop, I can't leave that paper waiting to the money. That's what I tell my navigation. Speed down, one paper information. Hit the scene, starting fresh up out that Benz. Gone off the product, can't stop fucking with blends. Rolling all night, hold up.
Been around the world and I just rap my city. I don't know why, the one legs up. Put your booty on the floor. Put your one leg up. Put your booty on the floor. Hey, I said do it, do it. I done took you on the tour, took you all around the reservoir. Northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. Yeah, tell me who rocks the best. A Murderland, tell me who rocks the best. Hey, VA, you tell me who rocks the best. Hey, where y'all from? Where y'all from? Where y'all from? Where y'all from? Yo, excuse me, killer cow, yes. Have you ever seen a show with fellas on the mic where woman it rhymes that don't come out right? They right, they never right, that's not polite. Hey, am I lying? No, you're quite right. So tonight, on this very mic, you're about to hear, we swear, the best vocal stars of the year. So, are you ready though? Are you ready though? So, are you ready though? Are you ready though? So, are you ready though? This is called a show.
What up? It's your man Tony Redz, aka Mr. 24/7, and no matter what you do, make sure you do.
Your boy P. Stu, DC Radio OG, 93.9 WKYS, Live Squad, One Nation Hip Hop Show, Hip Hop Fathers. I was born in Jamaica, and so, you know, my mother's full-blooded Yardie. My pop is from New Jersey, but, you know what I'm saying, he got his PhD in the Caribbean history. Like, he was over there for 30, 40 years. He's like an adopted, you know, Jamaican, you know what I'm saying? But so I grew up on you know, reggae and jazz, and you know what I'm saying, and like, you know, a lot of the old soul type music, but especially that reggae, that Bob Marley and the Wailers, and you know what I'm saying, and even got to experience like reggae sunsplash out in Jamaica at a young age and all that good stuff. So I fell in love with music at a very young age. I was born listening to music, but I fell in love with hip hop, like, I don't know, like when the Beastie Boys' License to Ill come out. That was the first album I ever bought, you know what I'm saying? Beastie Boys' License to Ill had the had the plane on the album cover. That's when, you know, we was buying albums, you know what I'm saying? Like 12 inches, going to the store, buying the albums, come home, put it on the player, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't really even about CDs and all that yet. It was still about them albums and tapes and all that good stuff. But that, you know, I fell in love with it from that point on. It was nonstop, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know, like I always wanted to be in radio, like even in high school, you know, I took the TV, radio, broadcast, journalism program, Willingboro High School, Willingboro, New Jersey, you know what I'm saying? South Jersey, shout out all my Jersey sluggers, you know what I'm saying? And then I went to college, I went to Morehouse in Atlanta, and I wanted to study mass communications. Morehouse didn't directly have a mass communications program. You had to cross-register with Clark Atlanta University and take your communications courses over there. And Clark lost some PhDs off their faculty that year when I went, so Morehouse stopped letting you cross-register with Clark, so I was stuck, like, yo, no mass communications. I think I tried like political science, didn't really work out for me. So I came back to Jersey like, dang, what am I gonna do? Like, you know, I was rapping, I was an artist, you know what I'm saying? And my man DJ J Ski got the job, you know, down here in DC, in Washington, DC, on this radio station that had just started, 93.9 WKYS, KISS FM, and my man Easy Street, you know, had worked with Jay Ski on radio in Philly and kind of like, you know, brought him down here. And Jay was like, you know, y'all want to come down, do this music? And yeah, so that was like around, you know, I went to college, you know, like around 93, you know what I'm saying, 94, and then moved to DC in 95. But the whole time I was trying to do something in TV, radio, journalism, broadcasting, and, you know, like along the way I started rapping. You know what I'm saying, coming from the Northeast, you know what I mean, being raised in Jersey and coming, you know, coming out of that New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia type tri-state area, you know, that's what it was for us. It was all about hip hop, and so I was rapping and all of that back then, trying trying to do it from back then, you know what I'm saying? When we first started in radio here in the DMV, 93.9 WKYS Live Squad, shout out my sister Steph Lover, my brother Pooch Man, you know, we had a pioneering on-air radio show out here, you know what I'm saying, on KYS, you know, and like we was heavily into hip hop, doing music, and you know the hip hop scene out here just was, it was kind of like sporadic, you know, it was basically go-go. You know, if you was rapping, you rapping a go-go band, but there was a few like at the colleges, there would be little freestyle things happening. There was no, you know, DMV yet, you know what I'm saying? But hip hop, the culture, the music was, you know, really about substance and content and lyrics and how many bars you could spit, and you know what I'm saying? And songs was 5 minutes long, 6 minutes long, and you know, and then the internet boom and technology advanced in music, and then here came all these, you know, softwares and programs that made it kind of like easy for kind of anybody to get into music and start doing beats. So, you know, the beats started simplifying, stuff wasn't as complex anymore, and the culture, the sound of everything just changed over from like the 90s to where we at now. And it's not even it's not a bad thing, it's just it just evolved, and there's more artists now. You know, of course, the business side of everything changed completely. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the days of the big record labels and all that, controlling the destinies and the big radio stations, all that's out the door. Because of the current scene and how everything was going, in the, you know, musically here in the DMV, and because I came here from another area, from out of town, I kind of looked at it like, you know, we have an opportunity here to really open the market up and really get this thing going and really, you know, turn this into a hip hop market. And we played a part in it with One Nation, being able to, you know, bring cats up, interview them, and all that. It wasn't really cool when we was doing it, so now it's cool, hip hop, being you know, having a group, a label, and you know, that's the thing now here in the DMV. You know, along that way, the DMV emerged too. Shout out to Two-Face and Greg Calloway and all the cats that, you know, take credit for starting the term the DMV and popularizing it. Big ups to all of them, because that aided in opening the market up too, and saying, you know, like we can have a self-contained hip hop market by coming together as DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Blessing for real to be able to play a part. It was going to happen regardless of me or anybody else that played their role and played their parts, from the artists to the producers to the DJs to the other people at radio stations. Shout out to my homie Big Daddy DJ Iron, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of cats on the inside here of the industry part of the music culture here in the DMV that are responsible for, you know, getting the market to where it is now. We still ain't all the way where we need to be, like by any means. We got a long way to go, but it was good to see Shy and Gold Link on the freshman cover this year for XXL. You know what I'm saying? To have two cats from the area, you know, grace the cover, just shows the progress and shows that the rest of the world is really taking notice to the area and what we got here. Well, yeah, everything that I had did in radio and leading up to the point of working full-time with Mello, with Crossover ENT, had prepared me for that. That was all timing. You know, everything was transitioning in radio with the company, with Radio 1, so it was a good time for me to say, let me go ahead and, you know, let radio finish, you know, its transition, and let me go over here and work with the big homie. We was cool first, you know what I'm saying, and you know, the artist was family that we had on the label. You know, Berg, aka Diego Cash, was family, and then of course we had Cassidy. You know what I'm saying? And Mello, Cass had a good relationship. I had a good relationship with Cass. And the thing about doing the whole crossover thing that was crazy to me was I'm a sports fan and a hip hop fanatic. So I was a fan of Mello when he was winning the chip, when he was out here going to Oak Hill, playing in the Cap Classic at the MCI Center, you know what I'm saying, before it was Verizon, and then, you know, and then him going on to win the chip at Syracuse as a freshman. I'm a fan of sports, so I was already a fan. And then being a fan of hip hop and coming from the South Jersey, Philly area, so, you know, being well informed and almost indirectly, you know, a part of Cassidy's rise from when he was just the boy B, bodying everybody on Philly radio every week with his bars, like just bodying everybody, and then to where Swiss came and got him, was like, yeah, let's do this full surface thing. He went up there, body Freeway, you know what I'm saying, up at Hot 97. So I'm like, yo, I'm a fan of Cass, fan of Mello, and now I get to work with these dudes on the music tip. So that was fun, you know, that was just a lot of fun. It was more learning to actually do it from the business side and help prepare me for my next, you know, contributions even in the DMV music scene with getting Kingpin Slim, taking him under my wing and giving all those resources and connects that I had developed over the last 15 years at that point in the business, you know, 20 years now, 15 years in the business, all the contacts and dumping it on his plate and being an architect and architecting his Beam Up movement and letting that evolve to where he could put out Beam Up 1, Beam Up 2, Triple Beam Dreams, his mixtapes, and really have a good, solid catalog of music and make a mark here in the DMV as part of the DMV hip hop culture, you know what I'm saying? So your boy P Stew, that's everything, you know, YABOYPSTEW, you know, that's Instagram, Twitter. I got a Snapchat, but it's really like my 5-year-old son just be taking my phone and doing all the snaps. I'm like, I ain't even really got with it yet, you know what I'm saying? But I'm getting with it. And then, you know, Instagram is, you know, again, your boy P Stew, and then at Hip Hop Fathers. That's all us all day.
It's DJ Flex from WPGC. Whatever you do, be you.
Tell me what you know about that.
it is. BBU Enterprise presents the DMV's #1 outlet to the streets. BU DVD magazine. BU, all you gotta do is be you. 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 That's all. Be you. All you gotta do is be you. Be you, DVD mag, ain't nothing else. No. We coming to your hood, so you better be yourself. Yeah. Catch us in the club or getting footage on a yacht. Yeah. Athletes, entertainers, the hustle don't stop. Nah. You can tune in from home and still party with me. Yeah. Cause A and B Love got access to the city. Right. Boston like them, we all gon' get it in. Lock it in at 1 a.m. because it's coming on again. Yeah. Exclusive access, interviews, videos, eye candy of the month. We nothing like them other shows, from the Perk to Ibiza to the Love. Yeah. My man Big A keep it poppin' in the club. BU DVD magazine is a beast, and we are the #1 outlet.
Man, no matter what you do, BU